Welcome to the Monday, April 13th, 2026 City Council meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. We've had a lot of discussion during our work session before this meeting, so we apologize if we're running a little bit late. We had a master plan that was reviewed for our Parks and Rec Department, which is a phenomenal task. Anthony Latour, our director, did a great job working with our consultation company, Ayers and Associates, who did a great job. I think it's 100 and something pages. I can't remember how many. But there is a lot of reading for the council to do and a lot for us to consider as we move forward with this new master plan. We also spoke with a couple of business leaders who wanted to talk to us about potential incentives on trying to keep money here and keeping contractors shopping local. And we'll be discussing that in the upcoming months and days and weeks. And we'll discuss their the information they're providing to us and see what we can do to keep that moving. But in the meantime, we do have our council meeting tonight, and it's a fairly short one, but we do have a lot of items to discuss. So we'll get right into it. First off, we have Adriel Latier here for our invitation.
Let's pray. Father God, we just thank you for all that you are doing for the city of Lamar. We thank you for your protection and your provision and your blessings in the city. We seek to honor you and glorify your name. Have your way. Jesus, we recognize your authority in our lives and that you are seated on the throne far above us. And we endeavor to follow your examples, Lord, and to love the least of these, Lord God, and do what it is that you've called us to do with a servant's heart, Lord God. And Holy Spirit, we ask for your wisdom and your creativity in all that we do, that you would just lead us and guide us. And we thank you for the people in this community that have a heart to serve and to make it better, and that you would continue to give direction and wisdom and bless them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Councilman Gonzalez, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:07 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Here.
Mark Henley.
Here.
Jerry Jenkins. Here. Kirk Crespin.
Here.
David Zavala.
Here.
Brad Johnson. Brent Bates.
Here.
Kristen Swartz.
Here.
Mitch Hannes.
Here.
Lance Clark.
Okay, we've all had an opportunity to review the agenda. Were there any changes to the agenda that needed to be made?
I didn't see any.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Have you had an opportunity to review the consent agenda? I did not see any items that needed to be voted on separately. Anyone?
No, neither did I.
Did not.
So do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as submitted. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of.
All right, moving on. We do have our public comment portion of the meeting. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject that does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and that is at the discretion of the council. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council? Okay, we do have one individual. And you'll have 3 minutes each. Can I get your name and address for the records?
Timothy Earhart, 907 South 8th Street, apartment 3.
Okay.
And I'm here to inform you, now that I've had time to get things set in order, that a few months ago, the chief of police decided he wanted to try to stop a witness from coming forward through intimidation, through the use of threatening to sue over defamation. Now, defamation in the United States under the First Amendment laws requires false accusations. As such, I have requested a military analyst to analyze all my files. So, and I should be hearing back soon. However, while I only asked them to analyze it, however they use the files is not my call. So with that being said, with this and Kyle Miller, you might want to actually start to take action about the heavy-handedness in the police department. Because at this point, that's 2 chief of polices in how many years that have questionable records. And if this gets brought to the 5th or 9th Circuit courts, like the Supreme Court, well, you can actually be dragged into the middle of it too. So I'm hoping you can address it and get it fixed.
Okay. Have you filed a formal complaint with the police department or anything like that? As far as there's a formal complaint for the police chief. Have you already filed one of those?
I was unaware that they had such a protocol, and besides that, the chief of police overviews all that, so he could just ignore it.
Okay. And you said the chief of police was Kyle Miller that you were working with?
No, that was the previous one.
Okay.
The one I was talking about with the defamation was Ritter.
Okay. Okay. All right.
That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak to the council on an item that's not on the agenda? Seeing none, we will move on to the next item, which is our city treasurer's report. Kristen?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. For my grant update this evening, we did get notification. We had applied for a Colorado Firefighter Safety and Disease Prevention Grant for SCBAs, and it was denied. Their grant request exceeded the amount of dollars that they had was the reason. And then we also had, Tess and I met with CDBG funding through DOLA for the public safety building. They have a facilities grant that we wanted to see if we could apply for. And they sent us a notification that we didn't qualify because they don't fund fire departments and they don't fund renovations of buildings that have multi-use. So we are seeking other funding, and it's later on in the agenda that we'll be asking permission to apply for. So those are the 2 grant updates that I have right now. And that was all I had for this evening, unless you guys have questions for me.
Anyone?
I don't have anything, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item would be the city clerk's report.
And I have no report this evening.
Okay. Next would be the city administrator's report.
All right, thank you. So all through the month of April, just reminding we have free landfill and transfer station weekends for residents to take stuff to the landfill or the transfer station, and there are no pickup services available, so they need to get it there. Lamar Lanes is hosting Pins for Prevention on Sunday, April 26th from 3 to 5 p.m. It's a free family bowling event. Prowers County is having their 4th annual Plant a Pinwheel for Child Abuse Prevention Month on April the 15th from 4:30 to 6:30 in the Shore Arts Center Park. Participants get to plant a pinwheel, a free meal, music, and more exciting activities. Sparrow House Ministries Pantry will be open in April on the 16th from noon to 1:30 and again 6 to 7:30 p.m. And April the 23rd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Sparrow House Ministries Pantry will be closed on Thursday, April 30th. As far as department updates, this past Thursday, we had a communications and public relations specialist candidate in town who spent about 4 hours with us, did a panel interview, and then met with the city council representatives, the mayor, met with the police chief, the fire chief, and did a tour with Mr. Duffy from KLMR and Colby, our chamber president. They gave him a tour of the town. And we're in the phases right now of considering all the feedback and So that's positive. So far, what I've heard is pretty good feedback. So hopefully we will have that position filled before too long. The 2026 annual CML conference is June 22nd to the 25th. If any council members plan to attend, please let Mary know as soon as possible. She can get the registration taken care of in the hotel where that conference occurs is books up fast. So she'd like to know so we can get you booked at that hotel. Make it easier.
Did you get registered?
Yes, I am
Okay.
registered.
Just checking.
We several weeks ago, we had Derek Gordon come and visit, do an IT audit and teach us how to do an IT strategy session. It was very productive, and Thomas, our IT director, we expect to have an initial information on a city IT strategy within about a month. We've considered all of the options and all the things that we think we need to consider, and what we want to do is put together the recommendations and then present those and then take a look at funding and timelines. It's not something we plan to implement in 3 or 6 months. It's a multi-year program, but we want to get feedback before we move forward on that. We are in desperate need of 1 or 2 extra police patrol vehicles. We're down to, we don't have any extras. I've reached out to a couple of agencies that may have vehicles that they are retiring, and those conversations are ongoing, but they seem pretty positive. So there might be an opportunity. The good news is they're usually well maintained, and they're from Colorado, so we don't have to drive to Maine to pick them up and worry about environmental conditions of the vehicles there. Last week, I met with the Pikes Peak Regional Building Department for recommendation and confirmation of our contractor roundtable that we had a couple weeks ago, and they offered really some great feedback. Areas where we actually can do more than what we thought we could do, and areas where we can get better and use the codes to our advantage to help our local contractors. Incidentally, I found this out. They are the largest building department in the state, and so not the largest, but they told me the best as well. So that was good. I went out and visited Escondido Field earlier today, and we'll be going out there tomorrow morning with the Parks Department staff at 7 a.m. We're going to run some sprinklers. We're going to take a look at that just to make sure that we can get that field and that park up to par by the time soccer season comes around. And that's all I have for tonight, unless you have any questions.
I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Don't have any. Okay, next up is reports and correspondence from the council. Do you have any reports, Joe?
Yes, I had the opportunity to meet with Lamar Parks and Recreation Department. They had their meeting, and it was a great meeting. I had a chance to meet all their board members. Anthony had the opportunity to present a policy and procedures, what they plan on doing and implementing with parents, staff, of anybody that gets vulgar or out of control during the soccer games or any kind of game that involves the public with the kids. They came up with a policy to how to deal with them effectively, friendly, and keep everybody safe. And that was the idea, is to keep everybody safe with the kids there. They've had experiences in the past where some parents would get vulgar or out of control during some of these games, and it's just not very sportsmanlike to see mom or dad get out of control with somebody else out there. Right. So Anthony and his team did a great job coming up with a policy and a procedure on how to deal with those. And then he also had some talks and mentions about how things are going with the upcoming events with soccer and other events that are taking place with the kids. Didn't have any hiccups there. He said everything was in line. Everything is going great. And there was no concern for anything right now, and that his hands were full with the comp plan, and everything was pushing forward, along with the swimming pool as well. You know, he explained to the board members that some of the construction was done there at the pool, and things were getting ready to look up for this year for the kids. As of right now, that's all I have to report from Lamar Parks and Rec, but I have nothing else from any other department.
Okay.
Just 2 items. The first is from our Resource and Senior Center. I would like to acknowledge Sherry Settles. She resigned from her position on the senior board and as their treasurer. And she's given many years of faithful and good service to the senior center. So I think we should acknowledge Sherry. Cheryl Tagg has taken over Sherry's spot on the board and also has assumed the position of treasurer. So we should also welcome Cheryl in that position too. A comment was made to me just a few weeks ago in my absence, and I don't know if this is something I can talk to Mitch or the council about, is they made a comment about the flagpole in front of the firehouse needing a little TLC. It was looking a little worse for the wear. I go up and down Main Street so many times, and then I actually paid attention, and the flagpole is looking a little rough. So maybe if we could see that possibly get repainted it brought me to another idea. With the 140th birthday of City of Lamar, I thought maybe we should look into possibly looking at a unique flag for the fire department. Being that the history of the Lamar Fire Department, and as we all well know, the history of Lamar owning the oldest and the first and rarest surviving motorized fire truck west of the Mississippi, I think that possibly could be something we should look at, is getting something very unique that not only celebrates Lamar and the Lamar Fire Department. Brigade flags are big with fire departments. And fire department, I think, being that we have a very robust fire department, good number of volunteers, that would be great for morale, not only to have the American flag on there, but have a really nice brigade flag that celebrates our fire department and its very unique history on a very nice flagpole. So, and that's, thank you.
Jerry?
No, we meet this week. My boards do.
David?
No, I don't have anything at the moment.
Rick?
Water Advisory Board met last week. There will be stage 2 restrictions coming before council in probably the next meeting, with the potential for stage 3. Everyone knows it's been very dry. Wells are above this time last year by about 1 to 2 feet, but the forecast is not great. So pray for rain.
Okay, and I don't have anything, so we shall move on with our new business. Okay, the first item in our new business is 220 Holly Street annexation public hearing. This would be a public hearing for the annexation of this property. It's 19.23 acres for this site, and it is something that Beth has been working on as well for the shovel-ready program. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So with that said, I would need a motion to move into the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to open the public hearing. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, we are now in the public hearing. I'll start off with just verifying with the staff presentation information. City clerk, was everything posted properly? And
It was posted in the paper and on site by March 23rd for the public hearing for tonight. And other than that, I will have to turn it over to attorney and
Okay.
city administrator.
city attorney?
From my perspective, the annexation documents that were required have been submitted. There's an impact report that was done as well as annexation maps and other documents that are in addition to planning and zoning. With the property and the requirements and exemption for annexation.
All right. Chief, did you have any concerns or anything that you found in your review?
No, sir.
Okay. And did you want to add anything, Mitch, or?
Just that it will, we believe that annexing this in, as well as the proposed project that will be coming forward afterward, is beneficial to the city. It is conducive to bringing new businesses and opportunities to our community, and will be a positive impact. We don't expect there to be any significant problems as far as police, fire, public works, and anything like that pertaining to the project as it's been described thus far.
Okay. All right. Well, at this time, I'd like to ask for the applicant if they were willing to come up and just talk about the project and the annexation and why you would like to have it annexed in to the city of Lamar. If you just state your name and for the record.
Yeah, my name is Brooks O'Hearn, and thank you guys for allowing us this time this evening. A little bit about the opportunity here. The annexation is for the west half of the parcel of land. At some point decades ago, the city limits were drawn immediately down the center of this property. So the east half is already in the city limits, and we're asking for the west half to join that. And our goal for this entire parcel that totals about 35 acres will be commercial development with the primary intention to capture the traffic that goes through this town on a daily basis. As many of us know, there's a ton of people that travel through this town, and our goal is to stop them with new business and increase tax base while bringing jobs to this town and the county-wide as well.
Okay. All right. And you've been working with our community development director and as well as Pep.
Yes, we appreciate everyone at the city that has joined in. A lot of different parties have joined in this effort to get these first steps started, as well as discuss with potential brands to come in. And so we've got those steps going.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to open up the floor to the audience and to the public. This will give the opportunity for anybody in the audience or within the public to speak for or against this annexation. Is there anyone that would like to speak against the annexation? Is there anyone other than the applicant that would like to speak in favor of this annexation? Seeing none either way, I will close the floor and open it up for questions or clarifications for the council. Does the council have any questions or need clarification before we adjourn from the public hearing?
At this moment, I don't have anything.
Anyone else?
I don't have anything.
Okay, well then I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. So at this time, we do have a ordinance at the back page. So we'll have that ordinance first reading at the end of this, towards the end of the meeting. But at this time, we don't need to do any decisions, right? Just waiting for the ordinances and get the ordinances passed. Correct. Okay. So that takes care of that portion of the meeting. We will move on to the next item on the agenda, which is an Arbor Day proclamation. And we do have members of our tree board here in Lamar. Thank you all for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
You bet.
Anyways, Mayor and City Council, we're glad to be here. We came bringing you a few tree notes. Arbor Day, we hope, is planned for Tuesday, April 28th, 2026. Arbor Week will be Sunday, April 26th through Saturday, May 2nd. We will be planting this year bare root trees at the nursery with the fifth graders once again. And we are planting 30 black walnut, 50 hackberry, and 20 ponderosa pines. 10 ponderosa hefty root and 10 Colorado blue spruce hefty roots. So these are bare root trees. They start small. We let them grow for 5 years or more, and then we move them over to the parks. It's amazing how much money it saves. And I was looking at our park today as I was driving by, and it just looks really nice with all the trees we've planted in there over the years. Anyways, these bare root trees are ordered from South Platte Natural Resources District out of Eads. That's the only one that we can work with now. The ones here that were located in Lamar have no longer doing any of that. That was the ones down on South Main, NCRS and all that with the state. So they no longer are doing it. They're just sending everybody to Eads. So we're picking up our trees tomorrow. And we have also purchased 8 larger trees from Home Store in Lamar and the Parks and Recreation crew, which I cannot say enough about. They are wonderful help. They never roll their eyes or anything. And so not anymore. Anyways, they planted 4 of these at the North Side Park for us, and then 4 out at the ball fields by the playground area. So we're going to hopefully get some shade over there. And then the trees we were planting out there this year, the ball field received a Japanese lilac tree, a purple robe locust, flash fire maple, and a symmetry maple. And some of these are, they'll have blossoms on them and have color. So we kind of are trying to bring in a little bit of color in our town. And then the North Side Park received a Japanese tree lilac, purple robe locust, accolade elm, and a Redmond linden. And then we also, this year, we have done this in the past, but we haven't done it for quite some time. We purchased a bare root tree for each of the 5th grade students. So that'll be about 100 students. And so when they take those home and plant them, we will have another 100 trees in Lamar. So anyways, we received Tree City USA again this year, and this is our 35th year of receiving this recognition in our Tree City USA flag. You were talking about the flagpole. I hope you leave our flag on there, but it's over there across from the fire department. We finally got it hung up again this year. So it used to be there for years and years and years, and I can't think of her name. She was on our group. She would go over there faithfully, take it down, because it always, the wind around here is crazy. She'd take it home, cut off a little bit, it started getting shorter. She'd sew it up and bring it back. So anyway, she's gone now, but she used to do that all the time. And then we had very few 5th graders participate in the Colorado Tree Coalition poster contest. I don't know, we had 4 new teachers this year, so maybe that was part of it. But anyways, we did pick out one winning poster, and we sent it on to Denver, Colorado, and the theme was Healthy Trees, Healthy Communities. And then one other note, Shauna Ray Falkenberg is a new member on our board as of this year, so that was kind of nice to pick up somebody that had never been on there before. And then I have the Arbor Day proclamation, if you,
I can
Yes.
go ahead and read that,
Okay.
and we can get it approved by the council.
okay?
So I'll go ahead and read it out. Arbor Day Proclamation. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. So I would just need the council to approve this proclamation.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Now therefore, I, Mayor Kirk Crespin of the city of Lamar, Colorado, do hereby proclaim Sunday, April 26th through Saturday, May 2nd, 2026 as Arbor Day week, and Tuesday, April 28th, 2026 as Arbor Day in the city of Lamar, Colorado for 2026. I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and Arbor Week to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this for all future generations. And I will get a signed copy here. Do you have one? Or is this one? Okay. Do you have a pen? Okay. Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Oh, okay. If any of you want to participate, we are planting trees with the fifth graders on Tuesday, April 28th from 1 to 3:30 over at the nursery, and that is due north of Hope Center, where it's called Pollen Grove. Ira Pollen donated that to the city years ago for the tree board to plant, to make a nursery out of. So if you want to participate, we'd love to have you.
Okay.
Okay? Yes. Okay.
Quick picture.
I know, I'm a,
There you go.
I don't know if I can, thank you. You want to?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
So that.
Yes.
Get out of it.
I got all night.
I can't be getting up.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Get him out of here.
All right, moving right along. Item number 3 is approve staff to apply for funding for the Wooten Public Safety Building. Kristen, would you like to speak on this for a bit?
I would, thank you. We have identified a few opportunities. Council did allow us to apply for this CDS funding. And then we've identified a USDA grant that we'd like to apply for, and we're doing some more research. And so we thought it might be more efficient and timely if we would just ask for permission to apply for any funding that we find available for the Wooten Public Safety Building and the renovation of it.
So generally, the process has been staff would come and ask for permission to apply. They would apply, then they would bring it back to accept the funds if they were to receive the grant. So if they do receive a grant, we'll be aware of it and we'll have to approve the acceptance of the grant anyhow.
That's correct.
So
And
we'll have the second
I'll
step.
keep you, informed about the applications that do get submitted so that you can follow along with us on that. And then if they get awarded, we'll bring it back for approval of the contract and acceptance of the funds. So
And we did do this with the wastewater treatment plant.
and it has worked nicely. Thank you.
Okay, council, what would you like to do?
Make a motion to approve staff to apply for funding for the Wooten Public Safety Building and allow the mayor to sign.
And I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any final discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, moving right along. Next item is proposed addition of sex offender registration fee by the Lamar Police Department. This is initiated by Chief Kevin Ritter. Chief.
Good evening.
Chief.
In regards to this agenda item, recently we moved the registration of sex offenders over to Investigations Division. And in doing so, we're kind of looking to get up to speed to a lot of other agencies in Colorado. And in looking through some of the revisions and rechecks and things of those natures, we found out that approximately, it says 30 Colorado agencies on there, but it's actually 38 currently charge a registration fee as allowable by Colorado Statute 1622-108. So we are proposing to fall in line with most other law enforcement agencies in the area in initiation of that fee. The statute is actually quoted underneath, so if you have any questions in regards to that. It also outlines that there is a limit of $75. Our proposal is $25. It's lower than most, and also to come into compliance. And there is also a provision for indigent or homeless individuals that if they're not able to pay that fee, it's not held against them as a failure to register or to comply with the compliance of their court-mandated statutory requirements. So it just requests that we add an addition or an addendum to the fee schedule in order to incorporate the $25 fee as kind of in accordance to at least 38 other law enforcement agencies within the state.
Okay, any questions from the council?
I don't have any.
No.
And in that, I would ask in the motion to include approving the resolution 260401 to amend the fee schedule if it's approved.
And just kind of as a side note in regards to the funds, they're going to go to offset rechecks and the inevitability that we're going to have to purchase a fingerprint scanning machine in order to comply with CBI on these registrations. So that money's going to go back into functioning of this requirement.
Okay. So we would need a motion to approve the amendment to the fee schedule under Resolution 260401 to include a sex offender registration fee to begin on May 1st, 2026. Is that right?
That's correct.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any final discussions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, the transfer of airport entitlement funds to the Archuleta County Airport, Stevens Field. This is initiated by Patrick Mason. Would you like to speak on this?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. So probably for about the last 10 years, our airport has been part of what they call a transfer group through the FAA administers it. What we figured out, and a good example was when we did the Taxiway A project in 2024, we were able to not only bank up to 5 years worth of our $150,000 a year entitlements, but we could also get loans from the other 4 airports that are part of our transfer group. So they would loan us a year's worth of entitlement funding, and we'd add that to what we had accumulated and be able to do a much larger project and get it done somewhat expedited. So this is basically return the favor. The FAA more or less administers it and says, hey, when it's time to transfer and when it's our turn to get it. So, I would recommend council approve it. And I believe they'd sent actually a DocuSign document. It's probably expired at this point in time, but I can reach out tomorrow if it's approved and let them know that they'll resend that to the mayor and city attorney for signature.
This is the same one as every year, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Lance, anything you saw out of the ordinary?
Okay,
Based upon that information, I make a motion to approve the transfer of the FFA entitlement funds to Archuleta County Airport.
I'll second that.
and allow the mayor and city to
And
sign.
allow the city mayor to sign.
Okay, any other questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay,
Thank you.
next up is the Allen Aviation Commercial Lease Agreement Renewal. This was also with Pat Mason. Pat?
Yeah, so Cody Allen with Allen Aviation has requested to renew his annual contract or lease agreement at the airport. He leases approximately 1,600 square feet of space in there and runs a Part 145 avionics repair station out of it. So I think he's been in there. This will be going on his 4th year. So the lease agreement's $500 per month. And it's good for a year, basically, and would have to come back and be renewed. I haven't had any issues. I think things are going well as far as I know of, and I would recommend that council approve the renewed lease agreement.
Have you reviewed the lease agreement?
It's the same one that we've done the last couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, it was actually the agreement that Lance actually went through and changed a few things and updated it. So it's that same agreement.
All right,
I make a motion to approve the renewal of the current lease agreement.
Second it.
okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the renewal. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you.
Thank you. Approval of purchase agreement and screen subscription package with Cirrus for the community building. This is initiated by Colby Brubaker, our facilities director. Is it manager or director? Manager?
Manager.
Okay.
Hello, council. As you guys know, the LED sign over at the community building has recently kind of lived its life and ran its course. And once coming on with the city, Anthony got me up to speed with this project. And as taking it on, I reached out to this company, Cirrus. This is a company that designs the signs themselves and produces them. We ran into several issues with suppliers in Colorado and around the area that we're not able to do the same 4-foot by 8-foot sign. On several of those bids, though, Cirrus was listed as the company that made these signs. So I reached out to them and they were able to accommodate still keeping that 4-foot by 8-foot sign. As far as digital pixels on the sign, the existing one was 10 mm. The bigger you go up in number, the bigger the bulbs get. And the smaller it goes, the finer they get, the better the picture gets. And so this new sign would be a 6 mm, which would drastically improve like the quality of the picture of the new sign, and kind of going from there. The agreement is a little different with how they kind of do their pricing. You'll see a lot of companies that just charge you the outright amount. This one does the initial amount, but then to gain their warranty over 5 years, as well as the subscription package to use their software for their product, is based over 5 years.
Lance, have you had a chance to look over this? Okay. With the quote expiring May 6th, can we table this until Lance has a chance to go through it?
Either that or we can approve it with his approval.
Okay.
Either one, whichever would work best.
Would you feel more comfortable taking a look at this outside of council meeting?
I mean, if council wants to approve it, I think the only thing I'm trying to look for with the 5-year agreement is some kind of cable provision. So it's just likely an addendum or a multi-year agreement.
Okay.
I make a motion to table the agreement until the city attorney has a chance to work through it. With the quote deadline of May 6th, that should be ample time.
For sure. Okay. Do we have a second
I'll
on that?
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to table it to provide time for our city attorney to review. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you, Colby.
And we did get that donation at the end of 2025 from Community State Bank of $26,000 to pay for the sign. So I didn't know if nobody had talked about that. Just wanted to make sure you knew that the funds were there.
Yep.
And available. Okay. Next item on the agenda is Sand and Sage Roundup. Keith Wineland, professional bike rider.
Hi, City Council.
Hello.
Won't you be glad when I get my ducks in a row just once? Actually, in the past, when we've had entertainment during the Wild West Barbecue Cook-Off, I've never come and asked. We just did it and approved it through the parks, but this is a good idea, so here I am, asking for a blessing. Keith Wineland is a trick bike rider, and he has his own equipment and stuff. And Mark Kerrigan's crew is going to help him set up his jumping apparatuses and stuff, so it won't be a problem. Do you guys have any questions about it?
Is this a motorcycle or like a pedaling bike?
It's a motorcycle, but it doesn't have a seat on it. It's a trick bike.
Okay.
So is it going to be contained or is it just going to be out in the dirt or, out in the open?
He will have barriers around it so people can't get up close to him.
Okay. I guess the only other thing would be is there going to be any need to do repairs afterwards for the property? It's going to be at the park, right? So you're doing it in certain areas?
You know where they do the blow-up car, usually down in that area? That's where I kind of thought I could put him in. It'd be safe for no tear up.
Okay. So you don't foresee any problems there? in that area?
No, it'll be on the west side of the footbridge, so it'll be in the native area where there's no grass.
Okay.
The only concern I have is that the city's not listed as a named insured on the certificate of liability insurance.
I don't think they are.
No, we shouldn't be, not the one that I sent you guys. It's strictly from his company.
And we should be listed as that, shouldn't we, Linda?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we need.
Yeah.
Is it possible to get listed?
Yes.
Get a copy of
That's
that?
a phone call to his insurance.
Yeah.
Take him on.
I'll call him tomorrow and have him put you guys on there. Will that work? And then I'll send it over to Anthony.
Could you put
So
me on
if
there?
you would
Yes.
like, the council could approve it with that as a
Dependency.
requirement.
I make a motion to give permission to San and Sage Roundup to have Keith Wineland, professional bike rider, at the event contingent on the city of Lamar being a named insured on the certificate and that certificate being sent off to the appropriate department heads.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussions?
I have none.
Okay, all those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, guys.
It should just be a simple phone call for him to his insurance. It shouldn't be difficult.
Yeah, it shouldn't be, as long as they're not out of town again. But anyway, I want to invite you guys all to come down. We have 28 teams so far. We have one guy coming from Sydney, Nebraska that is going to vend his barbecue also. So it'll be available starting Friday at 10:30 in the morning
Okay.
through Saturday.
What
So
did,
you can buy all kinds of barbecue.
Any
The
judges needed?
26th? No. When is
Well,
it?
I think so. I have to check my list again.
Yeah. Thank you.
But thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Yep.
24th, 25th.
Good catch there, Brett, on that insurance.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is to motion to ratify approval to submit congressionally directed spending application for the public safety building. This was an action that we had, that Kristen had spoke about earlier, where we had an opportunity to apply for the congressional directed spending for the public safety building, and they did apply for that. They did a phone poll, but of course, with a phone poll, we need to approve that and ratify it in open session. So that's what this is for, to ratify that phone poll. Any questions on that?
I make a motion to ratify council's approval.
Second it.
We have a motion and a second to ratify the approval. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right, the next item was to ratify the approval of the Aclara Statement of Work Agreement, and quote, that was done between the two meetings. This was for a software upgrade that needed to be done to continue the work within the Tyler conversion. And the council was notified about this, and we did a phone poll. Now this would be the ratification.
I make a motion to ratify the approval and agreement.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to ratify the approval. All those in favor signify with an eye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item on the agenda is 220 Holly Street LLC ordinance first reading. So we do have to read this out loud. It is an ordinance, so it must be read out loud for the first reading.
Care if I do it?
Go ahead.
Perfect. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lamar, Colorado, annexing to the City of Lamar, Colorado, certain real property known as the 220 Holly Street property. Whereas the City of Lamar, Colorado, known as City, is a home rule municipal charter of the State of Colorado, duly organized and operating under the Constitution and laws of the State of Colorado. And whereas the City Council has the authority pursuant to the Home Rule Charter and Municipal Annexation Act, CRS 31-12-101, et sec, to annex property into the city limits of Lamar, Colorado. And whereas the city received a petition for annexation for the property known as 220 Holly Street, known as property, described in Exhibit A attached hereto, requesting the property be annexed into the city limits of Lamar, Colorado. And whereas the City Council passed Resolution 26-2-1 on February 23rd of 2026, which concerned the city receiving and accepting an annexation petition and initiating the annexation procedures. And whereas the City Council passed Resolution 26-3-1 on March 9th, 2026, which amended the previous resolution for purposes of setting the public hearing date on March 13th, 2026. And whereas the City Council held a duly noticed public hearing published in accordance with CRS 31-12-108 subsection 2 to consider the eligibility of property to be annexed. And whereas the City Council finds that the property meets the requirements of Section 30 of Article 2 of the Colorado Constitution, the Home Rule Charter, and the CRS 31-12-104 and 31-12-105, and is eligible for annexation to the City of Lamar without an election. And whereas the City Council finds that it is in the best interest of the city to annex the property within the corporate limits of the City of Lamar, Colorado, and now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Lamar, Colorado. Section 1, the recitals contained above are incorporated herein by reference and are adopted as findings and determinations of the City Council. Section 2, the property as more particularly described in the petition and in Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein is hereby annexed to and included within the corporate limits of the City of Lamar, Colorado in accordance with the law. Section 3, the City Council hereby directs staff to complete all necessary procedures required for annexation of said property to the city, including 1 filing for recording 3 certified copies of this annexation ordinance and the maps of the annexed property containing a legal description of the property annexed hereby with the Prowers County Clerk and Recorder, and 2, filing the original of this annexation ordinance together with a copy of the annexation maps with the City Clerk of the City of Lamar, Colorado. Repealer. All ordinances, resolutions, bylaws, and regulations of the city in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed to the extent only of such inconsistency. This repealer shall not be construed to revive any ordinance, resolution, bylaw, or regulation, or part thereof heretofore repealed. Severability. Should any one or more sections or provisions of this ordinance be judicially determined invalid or unenforceable, such judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remaining provisions of this ordinance, the intention being that the various sections and provisions are severable. Effective date. This ordinance shall be in force and effect 30 days after publication following final passage and adoption.
Okay, so we would need to vote on this to have it introduced, read in full, passed on the first reading, and to be ordered published. So
I make a motion to approve 220 Holly Street LLC annexation ordinance on first reading.
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second to approve this ordinance on its first reading. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, that is the first step. Now we'll have the second reading at the next meeting, and that should finalize, right? Okay. One step closer. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda is any miscellaneous items that we may have to discuss. Is there anything that we need to go over before we close and move into an executive session? Okay, seeing none, we do have 2 executive sessions. One for a conference with the city attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice on specific legal questions under CRS 246402, subsection 4, subsection B. We'll be meeting with the Lamar Light and Power Board. And then number 2 will be for a discussion of personnel matters under CRS 246402, subsection 4, subsection F, for the discussion and planning of the city administrator's 6-month evaluation. There will be no decisions coming out of these 2 executive sessions, so we will adjourn the meeting immediately following the executive sessions. Are we all ready to move into this executive session?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to move into executive session. All those in favor signify with an aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right, that would be it. Like I said, there will be no decisions coming out of it. We will adjourn the meeting immediately following the executive session. Our next meeting will be Monday, April 27th, 2026 at 7 p.m. And we hope to see you then. Thank you for joining.